Hey guys, Dark here. I wanted to do a new Let's Try with just something like easygoing. See if subtitles are on. There you go. Text size. That's fine. Graphics. Hi. Okay. So I just wanted to try something, and yeah, I'm just gonna tell you right off the bat. This is a walking simulator, so don't expect anything like puzzles or anything, but hey, I mean, the whole point of this Let's Try series is to try games of all different shapes and sizes, whether they're free or AAA, it doesn't matter.
Welcome. Are you sitting comfortably? Are you focused and not thinking about whatever's bothering you these days? I'm not here to test you. Please relax. Let your thoughts come and go and listen as they fade away in the distance. For better or for worse, this is where your life has brought you. Looking at a screen, listening to me. Imagine, for a moment, that you've just had a child. It's healthy, but unfortunately also completely blind. For their whole life, they will live in the dark and not see a thing. Their perception of reality is something that you might never be able to comprehend. How would you describe the world to them? What can't be touched or heard, smelled or tasted? How would you describe sunlight? By what it does? Or how it feels on their skin? I think I'd play them this piece of music. First composed by Tchaikovsky in 1878, these rays of light have traveled through decade after decade, finally reaching your ears this very moment. You have also traveled far to get here today, but you're only passing through and should probably get going.
That's an interesting art style.
I'd like to tell you a story. It all happened to me
when I was young, walking in a forest, much like you are. Those were days filled with boundaries and rules. No running in the hallways, don't do this or that or the other. With my world full of fierce discipline, I walked the forest to breathe.
One day, deep in the woods, I found a funny-looking tree, crooked, old, and wrinkly.
With little work, a few bits of bark became huge ships.
Calm creeks turned ferocious oceans. I can still recall people I imagined
dragged downstream
with a sense of guilt.
As I gazed back upon the old tree,
I noticed something peculiar.
It was crying. Every crumple, like eyes closed tightly.
Clear drops streaming silently down its wrinkly skin. So I did
as children do. Tasted it. Not because it looked tasty, but
to figure out what it was. The first drop made my tongue tingle. The second made it prickle.
At the very moment the third landed on my tongue,
a profound sensation spread through my chest. Undefinable, like thirst.
Both vague and specific.
One thing's clear. Something was changing within me.
I remember breathing in and out, feeding the fire.
Interesting that all the trees have like voices.
The following day, I woke to a slight prickle in my fingertips. I studied them closely, discovering
circular ridges in the foreign landscape of my skin.
The prickling soon slipped my attention. It would be another week until it returned.
A wave of gentle needles
Moving over my skin. A limb falling asleep, perhaps?
I did not start worrying until it returned the third time.
First making its way up my neck, before engulfing my skull
Completely from behind. I could even feel the tiny needles covering my eyeballs.
But it did not stop there. I held my breath as the small thorns crawled around my lips before spreading into my lungs and stomach.
My awareness spread with it.
and I remember
The strangest sensation of my mushy dinner in there, as if I held its
The
remains
remains in the palm of my hand.
I mean, interesting as a walking simulator goes. You don't really have to do anything, you just have to pick these flowers. But I feel like they're just colors. That's the difference between the two of them.
Suddenly, my body took control and opened my mouth.
an explosion of air rushing into my lungs. The tingling spread with it through an endless web of veins.
Soon reaching my beating heart. For a moment, I stood in awe
of the activity within my body.
I felt my heart beating faster and my skin sweating.
Your body is your only vessel in this world.
And when it misbehaves, the claustrophobia is total.
seek help.
I thought.
And at that very moment, tingling needles shot from my brain down through my spine. I felt them scatter through my upper leg, where muscles contracted to lift my knee. My body
Weight shifted forward, and a shock wave spread from the foot sole as it landed softly on the ground.
The process repeated itself in greater detail for every step.
I was overwhelmed, but my body kept moving.
I did not at all feel like the boss, giving directions.
It all happened automatically, and I
Was simply along for the ride.
Like you.
I wish you could run in this.
surface was cold and white.
Crossing the floor felt like a polar expedition.
My parents, distant features of the landscape.
I wanted to explain, but was unable. My lips and tongue engaged in an intricate choreography, myself in the audience, observing the words performed.
My lips muttered, I'm sure it will pass.
While my thoughts were crying for help.
That would be kind of scary, honestly. Can't really see your feet. I wonder what's happening to this person. Are they just turning into a tree?
The conversation kept going, but I stopped paying attention. Instead,
I was following the hands of a clock mounted on the doctor's wall. They were both speeding up and slowing down.
I was slipping further and further away.
A levitating camera in a video game, merging with the code
it was running on. Again,
with the binary, with the electronics and so on. I closed my eyes and let my sensations
lead me.
First, I spent some time with my bones.
Among their many functions, I got lost in their continuous breathing.
An uninterrupted flow of calcium absorbed
and released.
Even my skeleton was alive and living in and of itself.
I could feel my mind clinging to the known,
to the clattering thoughts, the buzzing of memories and fears of the future.
But for each breath, tension
was released, and my shoulders sunk
comfortably.
It had certainly felt like I was in there, somewhere behind my face.
But I was nowhere to be found.
And the more I looked, the more hazy I became.
Imagine being in a forest like this, in a game, and then just the trees as your guide. You don't have a map or anything. You just have to find your way out, and not all the trees are telling you the truth.
When my eyelids eventually opened,
they felt as slow as the sunrise.
Photons converted to neural signals
shooting along the optic nerve, each carrying a piece of information into the darkness.
The brain categorized motion, color, edges,
distance. I sat for a moment in the dusk,
watching the sunrise. When the world eventually lit up,
I was no longer wondering why matter lights up from the inside. My experience
had changed from the fire to the light it emits.
But it would get much
stranger still.
I'm just going in any direction. I'm trying to figure out what the generation is for the map. How did I get turned around so badly? Where the heck's the light? Oh, there.
As the moment stretched, I started daydreaming.
Or so I thought.
It began
The shimmering field creeping slowly in from the periphery of my vision. The hands of the clock
Still moving, but among them vague shapes.
Slowly but surely, I
I
saw
saw trees flowing past me.
And among them, myself.
Sitting right there in the doctor's office with a vacant expression. While walking around myself,
I was surprised to still see the clock straight ahead.
Myself from the side. The clock on the wall.
The two images were not overlapping. They just
coexisted. Like imagining a familiar place with your eyes closed and you see both nothing and something at the same time.
I turned to look
towards myself, but saw only the face of the doctor.
Lingering somewhere between confusion, concern, and annoyance. However, when I studied his face closer,
I was struck by terror. The image of myself
had turned to look straight
into my own eyes.
I felt my own hand reach out towards myself. The weight of my hand
landing softly on my own shoulder. Eyes distant.
Looking at the doctor, looking at myself.
Rules and boundaries disappearing.
The fire was spreading. A delicate wave
of nostalgia washing over me. Intimate recollections of past sorrow, relationships,
Education and even medical experience.
And at last, I was no longer
alone. Not in the sense that the doctor was there removed my brother.
That we were together in the darkness of my mind. A vast number of sensations were
still flowing, but now with two observers to share the burden.
out of sight.
A hand picked me up.
And as I kept breathing, the fire kept spreading. Soon, it swallowed my parents, sitting in their chairs, doubting my story.
I felt contradicting opinions and ideas coexist, but not in conflict. Different notes in harmonious chords, shaping a balanced,
indivisible whole. More clouds spread into my vision, and more sensations through my body.
The music was evolving.
I looked at my hand.
5 fingers against a surface felt no different than 5 bodies or minds.
Branches becoming aware that they were connected
to the same trunk all along. Their experience, my own. All of them
present in my mind.
It's getting a little bit lengthy now.
The prickling kept spreading. Each needle on my skin,
another presence in my mind.
More and more observers sharing the burden. A vast number of
sensations flowing. My world,
like musical sunlight, just passing through.
Every individual going about their business, strangers on the street, unaware that they were all each other, their surroundings, and me.
I knew and felt them all as I knew and felt myself.
And I could no longer feel contempt,
or that anyone was somehow less deserving.
There was no longer me and you, no us versus them.
It was all just
me.
Apparently this also benefits trees, like they plant one tree for every single download, which is cool.
As I kept breathing in
and out,
each new breath pushed me along a ubiquitous landscape that was simply too beautiful to ignore.
What lay past each tree and beyond every hill
was another idea I knew to be true.
Mountains, transient shadows of matter, flowing through time, slowly from one point of view.
But for the mountain itself, oh boy, it's in a hurry, like everyone else.
Both the whirlpool and the stream, an expression of energy floating through empty space.
all experiences merging to one.
There I was. All of us. You, me, I.
The light that shines through the film.
All else is smoke and mirrors.
I think it's a little bit dragged out for the level of gameplay, because it's like you're doing the same thing over and over.
As with all stories, this one also ends.
Oh, good.
Not because the story has an ending,
but because it keeps moving, leaving us behind.
My body kept living like yours will, with
surfaces preserving its illusion of separateness.
The screen,
our very own eyes. I couldn't tell if I ascended or dissolved.
I'm soaring through space, but unable to move, nevertheless. And as I turn in orbit,
the boundary between light and dark keeps moving. A cascading wave of thoughts arriving at dawn, just as the way at dusk.
A violent competition on a speck of dust,
suspended in nothing.
An energy field fumbling in the dark, trying to describe myself.
I want to be safe.
Well fed, not too warm, not too cold, to be acknowledged by my closest.
So even though you are another part of me looking back, you will always be a stranger.
A lump of resources.
For my exploitation,
The branch
is cut.
our hemispheres separated once again. rocks,
skipping along the surface, never sinking in. The inconsistent dash of beauty between the noise,
picked up by a stranger with good intentions, and with it sentenced to die.
I don't care who you are, or how you found me.
But we are both reaching in.
A few lonely rays venturing through space in just the right direction.
Absorbed in our leaves, stored as sweet sugars,
and exhaled as crisp and clean oxygen.
And while the light warms our skin, or while we wait for the next sunrise,
we breathe in and out. All that matters is that we are here
right now.
And for a moment, we are
together. You and me as one. Like we always are. And always will be.
Oh, finally reached the end? And those forests. Bro, what is this? I don't know what to write. What do I write? Do they all say something else? Rest in peace spelled wrong. They do say something else. I wonder, are these the people whose voices we were listening to, or are they actual players? I think they might be actual players. WWD, yeah, it might be actual players. Well, that's the end of the game. Interesting, you know, a little bit. It went a little bit on the long side, but you know, definitely thought-provoking. But a very very depressing at the end there to see all the trees being like clear cut. But yeah, that will be Let's Try Sunlight. If you guys enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't. As always, I should catch you in the next episode. Take care for now. See you.